Greetings to all. Today I am going to deliver a talk on the economic planning with 5-year plans in India. Let me start with some general information about economic planning. The term economic planning is used to describe the long-term plans of the Government of India to develop and coordinate the economy with efficient utilization of resources. Economic planning in India started after independence in the year 1950 when it was considered necessary for economic growth and development of the nation. Now, I would like to highlight the long-term objectives of 5-year plans in India. High growth rate to improve the living standard of the residents of India. Economic stability for prosperity. Self-reliant economy. Social justice and reduce the inequalities and modernization of the economy. The idea of economic planning for 5 years was taken from the Soviet Union under the socialist influence of first Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. The first 8 5-year plans in India emphasized on growing the public sector with huge investments in heavy and basic industries. But since the launch of ninth 5-year plan in 1997, attention has shifted towards making government a growth facilitator. Now, I will focus on the objectives of economic planning in India. The first original objectives of economic planning in India is economic development. This is the main objective of planning in India. Economic development of India is measured by increase in the domestic product of India and per capita income, increased level of employment. An important aim of economic planning in India is to better utilize the available human resources of the country by increasing the employment levels. Self-sufficiency. India aims to be self-sufficient in major commodities and also increase exports through economic planning. The Indian economy had reached the takeoff stage of development during the third 5-year plan in 1961 to 66. Economic stability. Economic planning in India also aims at stable market conditions in addition to the economic growth of India. This means keeping inflation low while also making sure that deflation in prices does not happen. If the wholesale price index rises very high or very low, structural defects in the economy are created, and economic planning aims to avoid this. Social welfare and provision of self social services. The objectives of all 5-year plans, as well as plans suggested by the Nidhi Aayog, aims to increase labor welfare, social welfare for all sections of the society, development of social services in India, such as education, healthcare, and emergency services, have been part of planning in India. Regional development. Economic planning in India aims to reduce regional disparities in development. For example, some states like Punjab, Haryana, Gujarat, Maharashtra, and Tamil Nadu are relatively well developed economically, while states like Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Orissa, Assam, and Nagaland are economically backward. Others like Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh have uneven development with world-class economic centers in cities and a relatively less developed hinterland. Planning in India aims to study these disparities and suggest strategies to reduce them. Comprehensive and sustainable development. Development of all economic sectors such as agriculture, industry, and services is one of the major objectives of economic planning. Reduction in economic inequality. Measures to reduce inequality through progressive taxation, employment generation, and reservation of jobs has been a central objectives of Indian economic planning since independence. Social justice. This objective of planning is related to all other objectives has also been a central focus of planning in India. It aims to reduce the population of people living below the poverty line and provide them access to employment and social services. Let me elaborate further on the final objective of economic planning in India are increased standard of living. Increasing the standard of living by increasing the per capita income and equal distribution of income is also one of the main objectives of India's economic planning. Finally, I would like to address an overview of all five-year plans implemented in India. First five-year plan 1951 to 1956. Targets and objectives are more or less achieved with an active role of state in all economic sectors. Five Indian Institute of Technology were started as major technical institutions, rehabilitation of refugees, rapid agricultural development to achieve food self-sufficiency in the shortest possible time and control of inflation. Second five-year plan 1956 to 1961. It could not be implemented fully due to the shortage of foreign exchange. Targets had also been pruned, yet hydroelectric power projects and five steel mills like Bhilai, Durgapur, and Rourkela were established. The Nehru Mahalanobis model was adopted. Rapid industrialization, with particular emphasis on the development of basic and heavy industries. Industrial policy of 1956 adopted the establishment of a socialistic pattern of society as the goal of economic policy. Third five-year plan, 1961 to 1966. It was a failure. Wars and droughts occurred during third five-year plan. Yet Panchayat elections were started. State Electricity Board and State Secondary Education Board were formed. Establishment of a self-reliant and self-generating economy. Plan holidays, annual plans, 1966 to 1969. A new agricultural strategy was implemented during planned holidays. It involved the distribution of high-yielding varieties of seeds, extensive use of fertilizers, exploitation of irrigation, potential and soil conserving measures. Crisis in agriculture and serious food shortage required attention. Fourth five-year plan, 1969 to 1974, were ambitious. It was also a failure one. Achieved growth of 3.5% but was marred by inflation. The Indira Gandhi government nationalized 14 major Indian banks and the Green Revolution in India advanced agriculture, growth with stability, and progressive achievement of self-reliance. Fifth five-year plan, 1974 to 1979. It was high inflation period. War terminated by the Janata government. Yet the Indian National Highways system was introduced for the first time. Removal of poverty and attainment of self-reliance was the aim of fifth five-year plan period. Sixth five-year plan 1980 to 1985. Most targets were achieved during the sixth five-year plan period. The growth percentage was 5.5%. Family planning was also expanded in order to prevent overpopulation. Direct attack on the problem of poverty by creating conditions of an expanding economy. Seventh five-year plan, 1985 to 1990, with a growth rate of 6%. This plan has proved successful in spite of severe drought conditions for the first 3 years consequently. This plan introduced programs like Jawahar Rozgar Yojana, emphasis on policies and programs that would accelerate the growth in food grains production, increase employment opportunities, and raise productivity. Annual plans 1989 to 1991. It was the beginning of privatization and liberalization in India. No plan due to political uncertainties. Eighth five-year plan 1992 to 1997. It was partially succeeded. The average growth rate of 6.78% attained against the target of 5.6% achieved. Rapid economic growth, high growth of agriculture and allied sector and the manufacturing sector, growth in exports and imports, improvement in trade and current account deficit to undertake an annual average growth rate of 5.6%. Ninth five-year plan, 1997 to 2002. It achieved a growth rate of 5.4% gross domestic product, lower than the target. Yet, annual industrial growth rate was 4.5%, which was higher than targeted 3%. The service industry had a growth rate of 7.8%. An average annual growth rate of 6.7% was reached. Quality of life, generation of productive employment, regional balance and self-reliance, growth and social justice and equality was the main aim of the ninth five-year plan. Target growth rate was 6.5%. 10th five-year plan, 2002 to 2007. It was successful in reducing the poverty ratio by 5%, increasing forest cover to 25%, increasing literacy rates was 75%, and the economic growth of the country over 8%. To achieve 8% gross domestic product growth rate, reduce poverty by 5 points, and increase the literacy rate in the country are the main aims of the 10th five-year plan. 11th five-year plan, 2007 to 2012. India has recorded an annual average growth rate of 8%, farm sector growth at the average annual growth of 3.7% as against 4% targeted. The industry grew with an annual average growth rate of 7.2% against 10% targeted. Rapid and inclusive growth was the main aim of the 11th five-year plan. Empowerment through education and skill development, reduction of gender inequality, environmental sustainability to increase the growth rate in agriculture, industry and services to 4%, 10% and 9% respectively. Productive, clean drinking water for all by 2009 are the main objectives of the 11th five-year plan. Finally, I would like to focus on the 12th five-year plan, 2012 to 2017. Its main growth rate target was 8%. Faster, sustainable, and more inclusive growth was the main aim of the 12th five-year plan, raising agriculture output to 4%, manufacturing sector growth to 10%, the target of adding over 88,000 megawatt of power generation capacity. I hope you understand the topic related to the economic planning, long-term objectives of five-year plans in India, original objectives of economic planning in India, and an overview of all five-year plans implemented in India. Thank you.